Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of my Kerbal Space Program series. And today we won't do missions but try to orbit the moon. We are using our science orbit as blueprint and are just changing some stuff. We are changing the boosters in order to get more speed from the start, and we will use new tail fins in order to have good aerodynamic stability. The action groups look good, and let's start. I am taking a different flight path than usual because I want to rotate the rocket in order to get rid of the boosters, and I wanted to be in the higher atmosphere in order to not destabilize the rocket because of the aerodynamics in the lower atmospheres. And to be honest, I was kinda surprised how fast the vessel turned, but it worked out, so everything was fine. And even though I was pretty high up already, I was able to accelerate much more than I thought I would. And now we will glide to the apoapsis. And now that we are in a stable orbit, let's plan the maneuver to get to the moon. And here you can see the orbit from the other vessel again. I won't delete it because that's not how things in space work. So maybe I will get it done sometime. First off, we are setting the inclination in order to have the same orbit as the moon. And then we will burn prograde in order to get to the moon. And obviously we are gonna try to get as close to it as possible, so those are some minor changes. And we will start burning soon. And as you can see, I stopped a bit before because I didn't want to overshoot, but I did it anyways, so I did some minor adjustments and we are at a nice orbit. I actually reloaded the game because there is a bug that lets the maneuver not change even though you don't do anything, but luckily it didn't happen for me. I was worried because the numbers kept changing, but then it fixed itself. Now that we are in the moon's sphere of influence, we can do some science experiments. And now we will begin to burn retrograde in order to get an orbit around the moon. I didn't ramp up my engine to the fullest, so that's probably why you can't hear anything. But now we would be in an orbit of Kerbal, and now we are in an orbit around the moon. And right here I'm slowing down in order to get the apoapsis down a bit, so I can do more orbits faster. And the reason why I wanted a faster orbit is because of the EVA reports. They give a lot of science and there are a lot of terrains that can be discovered via the EVA report. I did about 10 orbits and got a lot of EVA reports, so it's time for me to get to Kerbal again. And the maneuver is pretty straightforward. We will burn Procreate in order to get a lower Kerbal Pararapsis. Right here I'm going to burn Retrograde in order to lower the Apoapsis, and I will also use Arrow Brakes in order to lower the Apoapsis as well. Here you can see how I do most of my aero brakes. I'm pointing outwards, so anti-radial, and that way my vessel slows down because of the atmosphere. I did this for I think 6 to 7 orbits, so it took a long time, and I did it in order to maybe get a better angle to get to the Kerbal Space Center. And as you can see here, I was pretty successful to lower my Apoapsis, and now I'm burning Retrograde in order to get near the Kerbal Space Center. As always, we are gonna separate the upper stage in order to carry our science and our Kerbal safe home. The big problem with our trajectory was that our descent wasn't as steep as before, and that's why we won't land at the Kerbal Space Center. The question now was, where do we land and do we need to save them with a plane? And as you might can tell, we will land far off the Kerbal Space Center and in the ocean. I said in the beginning of the series that I will rescue Kerbals manually if they are too far away from the Kerbal Space Center, and that's what I'm gonna do. I will build a plane and try to save them. But you will see that flight in the next episode, so I hope you liked this episode, and I'll see you guys when we rescue the Kerbals. Bye.